Hey y'all, just wanted to hop on here. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something that I was having a conversation with God about this morning. You know, I started off this conversation with God and I was just like, man, God, like this year is definitely not what I expected it to turn out like. Like the things that I thought were going to happen, that got turned around, and the people that I thought were going to be in my life that are no longer part of my life, and as he was talking to me about this conversation, he brought to me 1 Samuel 8 and 8. And this is where essentially could not let go of the fact that they wanted a king, but they were rejecting God as their king this whole time, even though God provided for them, even though God brought them out of slavery, out of everything that they needed to get out of, they still rejected him. But then this morning, he brought me to, it was Matthew 4:16 and 17, which talks about how Jesus had asked Peter, and I believe it was Simon. I could be wrong because I'm bad with names. But he had asked them, come with me, make you fisher of men, right? And so in that aspect, it's almost like a surrender. You're letting go, you're releasing what it is that your intent for belief of what you want, what you desire out of the outcome of your life. You're surrendering it all for God. And I couldn't understand the two and the correlation between it. And I was just like, okay, God, show me how this makes sense. And he goes, you have to understand, as you walk in this Christian life, there's going to be many moments where as you're walking, there's going to be things, there's going to be people who come in and out of your life dependent on how you behave, how they behave, how you receive from me, and how you surrender. Also, same vice versa for the other person or the thing, right? And so you go through these moments with God where you're learning to not reject him and to trust him, to surrender what your will is, what your desire is for God's will. And so that's what he's desiring for all his children, especially going into 2025. So he wants his people to understand that as we walk into 2025, obedience in his word, obedience in what he's calling us towards, obedience in our sacrifice, obedience in our surrender is going to play a major part in what we accomplish next year in 2025. But it also is going to essentially open doors for us that only God can open. And it's also going to shut the door on things that were never meant to be in our lives, and so I just wanted to release this word. I think it's super important for us to understand that as we're walking into 2025, be obedient to what God is speaking to you in this season. Be obedient to what he's asking you to surrender, because God knows all things, and all those things are going to be to work out for our goodwill, right? And so when we surrender our thoughts, when we surrender our actions, when we surrender our beliefs, when we surrender our desires, that's when God truly gives into us the things, the desires of our hearts, right? And we should never come in with the expectation of, well, I'm going to do this because God's going to do this for me. It should never be like that, right? Your intention should be to please and to love God to the maximum ability that you possibly can, because as children of Christ, we are also imitators of him, and the greatest way to imitate him is looking at how he walked on this earth. He sacrificed for our Father. He sacrificed for his desire. Even when he went to the cross, he knew what it was for him to go to the cross. And even though he was scared, because he's man, when he came to earth. He was scared. He released it. He said, not my will, but your will be done, Father. Right? And so that should be our example of how we go throughout this next year in 2025. So if you're looking at this video, this is a very, very specific word for you. And just comment, it's my time. 2025. And I pray that you have the most amazing day, and I pray that God gives you peace and that he will show you exactly what you need to do walking into 2025. And I love you guys so much. Stay rooted in God's word. God bless you.